What is going on today, guys? As you can see by the title of the video, it is related to my truck, so you're probably wondering why we're sitting in the Crown Vic. And that is because I don't have my truck. It's currently at the shop. So I'm just going to get right into the story, tell you exactly what happened, kind of give you my thoughts on it. It's Thanksgiving Day, it was Thursday. I'm at my friend's house getting food, having Thanksgiving dinner, hanging out, whatever. I leave, and I usually fill my truck up when it's about half a tank. That's usually when I fill my truck up, full of diesel. So that way it kind of helps me manage the cost a little bit. So, instead of paying $80 at the pump, I only end up paying like $40-something. So it kind of helps me just manage it a little bit better. Not like it really matters, but I just fill it up halfway. That's what I do. So I pull up to Wawa, where I normally go to get, diesel for my truck. And it's kind of like a skeleton crew because it's, obviously Thanksgiving Day. So there's not a whole lot of people working at Wawa. There's like 3 people in the store total working. Like 2 people inside the store and 1 person pumping gas. So I pull up to get some, diesel for my truck. And the kid already has like 3 cars that he's doing. So maybe he was a little overwhelmed, whatever. I pull up, he comes over to me. And I'm like, hey, can you fill it diesel? And he's like, just wanted to let you know, currently at this hour, we're not giving out change. Like at certain hours, Wawa doesn't have change. So if you pay cash and you don't have the change, well, you're not getting money back. So I told him, I was like, don't worry about it. It's fine. I have the cash. Just fill it up. And he's like, okay, that's fine. So he goes back. He punches his code in or whatever to get the pumps all activated. Puts the nozzle in. He starts filling it up. Now, normally, when I get diesel for my truck, I normally always look behind me and see what they're putting in there. I'm sure you can kind of put the puzzle pieces together at this point. I can normally see what they're putting in there. Well, I had my girlfriend with me. We're just sitting. We're just talking or whatever. We're looking forward to getting home. We're both kind of tired. And we're sitting there for like 2 minutes, whatever it is. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, let me just see, where we're at, how much it is, I look behind me and I see the red gas nozzle in my tank. I'm like, oh man. I try running out real quick. Not like it really mattered. I could have went out there as slow as an old man because at that point, he had already put like 13 gallons in. It was irrelevant how fast I got out. But I got out quick, whatever. I pulled the nozzle out. And I'm like, dude, you put gas in my truck. I wanted diesel. We're both shouting for him. She shouted at the window. She's like, yo, you put diesel. You put gas in the truck. And the kid's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He's like, let me go grab my manager. So he runs inside. He goes and, gets the manager. And, we literally sat in the truck for a good half hour. It had to be close to a half hour before the manager even came out because she's so overwhelmed in there because it's a skeleton crew. She's trying to close everything down and, just get prepped up for the next day. So I literally sat there just for like a half hour trying to wait just for the manager to come out to talk to the manager. In case you don't know, before we go any further, I don't know if you guys know what Wawa is, but Wawa is like a big chain of stores on like, I'd say the East Coast. I know they're 100% in Jersey. They're in PA. Believe they're also in like Delaware, I think. I know they're in a few states around the Salt Belt. New York, I think they're in too. If you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like a Sheetz. I know Sheetz is pretty popular. Picture like I know 7-Elevens are worldwide, so picture like a 7-Eleven, but like bigger, and they have like more selections. That's kind of what Wawa is, in case you don't know. And another thing too, while you're wondering why someone's pumping my gas or diesel, pumping my fuel, whatever, I do live in New Jersey. New Jersey, yeah, I don't know if you ever heard the saying, Jersey girls don't pump their gas. It sounds like a fake saying. It's true because people in New Jersey don't pump their gas. It's pumped for them. So if you're wondering why I didn't put it in, it's because I'm in Jersey and it's done for you. So let's just get that all the way now. But the manager finally comes out. I'm speaking to her, and she's like, all right. So she's like, she put, my guy here put gas in your truck. I'm like, yeah, you put gas and need diesel. She's like, okay. She's like, let me get all the paperwork, or, you know, we'll file an incident report out, whatever. She's like, just don't start it up, which I already knew. I knew not to start it up, obviously. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. That took another close to half hour, maybe a little bit less, for her to come out, give me the paperwork, you know, do everything, start filling the stuff out. So I ended up doing that, not a big deal. The manager was super, super friendly. She's like, if you want any food, she's like, you're welcome to all the free food you want, drinks, you can take whatever you want. And I was like, that's fine. I'm like, if I could have a bottle of water, that'd be great. So the kid ended up getting me a bottle of water. And that was that. So we're sitting there, you know, still waiting. At this point, I've probably been there for almost an hour. And she's like, okay. I finally got a hold of a tow truck service. You know, what do you want to do? Do you want to get your truck towed to a shop that you know? Do you want to get it towed to one of our shops? I guess they have contracts with certain shops. And I said, no, I'm like, I have my own shop. I know what you know, how I'm going to handle this. I'll take care of it. I'm like, just get the tow truck over here. So, that was another pain in the ass trying to get the tow truck. She tried calling them for a good half hour, 45 minutes, trying to get a hold of someone in the towing company. She finally gets a hold of somebody, and she's like, okay, I got everything arranged. They're coming to get you. You should get notified on your phone when the tow truck's going to come. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I get a notification on my phone, and after like 10 minutes, I'm like, let me just check to see, you know, what the ETA is, kind of like just check this out. I look at the address. They had the complete wrong address to come get my truck. Thank God I noticed. They would have went all the way over to Medford. I was in Lakewood. Okay, that's almost an hour drive. So the tow truck driver would have went out an hour out of his way. I would have been waiting there another hour if they didn't. Well, unless they had a tow truck driver close, I would have waited there at least another hour. Okay. So I'm like, thank God I checked this. Then I ended up contacting the towing company, and I'm like, dude, you guys have the wrong address. I'm like, I'm over in Lakewood. I'm not in Medford. I don't know why it says Medford. And I don't think it was the woman's fault, because I don't know. The towing company was saying, I don't even remember what they told me. They have like similar addresses or something, and they didn't hear her properly over the phone. I don't remember what exactly they said, but I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm in this location here. Please just pick my truck up. So they came, got the truck. Well, they changed the address for them to come get my truck. I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever. So we're literally sitting. I probably was at Wawa a total of like 3.5, close to 4 hours. I'm sitting just at the Wawa gas pump, just sitting here, just talking the talk, just hanging out. But eventually the tow truck driver did come. I finally got it towed. The first the guy pulls up, he calls me, he's like, oh, where are you? And I'm like, I'm at the pump. What do you mean? He's like, oh, they told me you're across the street from Wawa. I'm like, no, I'm literally at Wawa, just sitting at the pump. He's like, oh, okay. So then he pulls up, he finally pulls up like a minute later or whatever. And I'm like, hey, listen, is there any way that we can get this truck in neutral without me having to prime it? He's like, oh, no, you should be able to prime it. It should be fine. And I'm like, I didn't really want to prime it. I didn't want to get the gasoline going through all my lines, through the pump and everything. I was going to try to pull the fuse, but I couldn't figure out which fuse. I was going through my owner's manual, trying to look through it. By the time I thought to pull the fuse, the driver was like there within 5 minutes. So I tried flipping. There's an inertia switch on the kicker panel on the passenger side. So if you crash, it shuts off the fuel pump. I tried to click that. I tried to activate just the inertia switch, but you can't. It only activates when you crash or sideways or whatever. So I couldn't, use the inertia switch. I was going to try to pull the fuse, but once again, like I said, I wasn't sure which one it was. I didn't want to just start pulling fuses. So I was like, whatever, I guess I'm priming it at this point. What am I going to do? So I primed it up. It's like, brrr, you can just hear it priming. Like, oh, here we go. Here's all the gasoline just going through my system now. This is great. Put it in neutral. We got it on the truck. And it got towed to the shop. That's where it's currently sitting now. It's currently at the shop. Now, this happened on Thursday. So they called me Friday morning because their lot is kind of small. they call me. They're like, I guess they still had my number saved because it was just there recently. Got glow plugs done and coolant done. So they call me up and they're like, hey, what's going on with the truck, man? I guess they thought it was like something that they had just recently did, like they screwed something up. And I'm like, hey, you're not gonna believe this. I'm like, Wawa put gas in my truck. And they're like, oh my God, no way. I'm like, yeah, man, they put gas in there. So they're like, all right, we'll start. We'll look at it. We'll inspect everything, see what's going on. And that's currently where we're at with the truck now. They told me on the phone that the gas did get through the entire system because I had to prime it. I primed it 2 times. I had to prime it to get it onto the truck and then put it back in park. And then I had to prime it again to get it off the truck, off the flatbed, to park it. So I got primed twice. And they're like, yeah, we can smell a little bit of gas in your fuel bowl. You did get some gasoline through the system. I was like, okay, well, Wawa's going to cover whatever damages there are. So I said, look at it, see what, what you feel needs to be replaced or whatever. And, Wawa will cover it. The woman said that Wawa's going to cover it. By the way, Wawa, they screwed up. I get that. But the woman, the manager, was beyond friendly, super friendly. I felt bad for her. She told me, she's like, I've been at this company for 20 years, and this is the most stressful night I've ever had. And I was like, damn, I'm like, that's pretty bad, I told her, I was like, hey, I know, we're both going through it right now, I'm like, it's not a big deal. I'm like, as long as everything just gets resolved and we can get it figured out, that's really all I care about. And she's like, oh no, I promise you, Wawa's gonna resolve this. Your truck's gonna be okay. We're gonna take care of it. And that's all I wanted. They also gave me a number for a rent-a-car. I wasn't able to call the rent-a-car yet. Because I was working. So, and they're closed on Sunday. I couldn't call them Sunday. Today's Monday. I don't know if I'm gonna put it up on Monday. Today's Monday. So, I'm gonna call the rent-a-car today. So I get myself a rent-a-car. But, that's where I'm at right now. The truck's just sitting at the shop. They're inspecting it. I'm going to go over there later today. And they're going to give me a quote of how much they think, what needs to be replaced. Everything that it needs. They're going to give me a quote. And whether I have to call Wawa and just get a check from them, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work. I'll keep you guys updated. But I don't know if I have to call corporate or I have to call the store directly. But either way, Wawa's going to pay to fix my truck. So that's kind of where it's at. It could have been really bad. I don't think priming it, the diesel goes into your injectors when you prime it. I may be wrong. I hope I didn't screw my injectors up. I'm just kind of afraid my truck's never going to be the same. Even you can replace everything. And I just don't know if my truck is ever going to be the same. Sometimes with cars or just with things in general, you tweak things, you do things, and you get it like just right. And you leave it that way for a while, and then you start like changing stuff, and it's just never the same. I'm kind of fearful that it will just like, my truck was running so good. I had it like perfect. It was like borderline perfect. I don't think I could have gotten any better. It was running like quiet. It was just running great. I can't explain it. It was just running like it has never ran before. And I'm not even just like making that up. It ran like better than it did from the factory. And I'm just afraid, if stuff is getting replaced and this and that, it's just not going to be the same. Maybe it'll be better. Who knows? That's kind of what I'm fearful for. But, at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's the situation that I'm in. And maybe it'll be a blessing in disguise. Who knows what's going to happen. But that's it for now. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I will keep you guys posted, when the truck is finished and I get everything fixed on it. I'll tell you everything that was done on it, how much it cost. I'll tell you guys the entire process in case you're curious to know what's going to happen with this. But I will talk to you guys in the next one, and take care, guys. Oh, if you have a truck and you have a diesel, make sure you look what they're putting in there, okay? Don't do what I did and not look. I usually do, but of course the one time that I don't look, everything gets screwed up. So yeah, make sure you look what they're doing.